Hi there. This is Simon and Maren, your relationship coaches, and we're here today with another Working Out Your Relationship. Today, we're going to talk about anxiety and how that plays out in relationship and what we can do when we notice that anxiety in the midst of a conversation or in the midst of a situation.
One of the key things that we've worked on for ourselves and in our relationship is to bring that awareness of when I'm feeling anxious. Because if I'm not aware, I will often react or put my anxiety onto Simon. And that's not helpful for me, and it's not helpful for him.
So I think one of the things that we've had to learn is actually identify what anxiety looks like for ourselves, and it looks different for each of us. So part of the invitation is to be aware of what does anxiety look like for you.
So think about that question as we're sharing some of our experiences. For me, I've come to notice that my heart rate goes up pretty quickly, that I'm fidgeting physically with my body, or I have racing thoughts. I also think about like getting small, like my muscles tighten, and I feel sometimes on that frozen side of things. What about you?
Yeah, I know for me, sometimes I can kind of get a little clammy. Sometimes I get a little stomach ache. Sometimes I can feel a little headache coming on. Sometimes I notice that racing heartbeat. Sometimes it's the jitteriness. I'm a fidgeter anyway, but sometimes it can get really bad when I'm anxious. Sometimes I'm tapping my leg or tapping my foot on the floor, or just kind of moving, and that's when I start to notice that what we call activation. And activation is actually a neurochemical process that's going on in our bodies.
Mhm. So, Simon, can you share with everybody how you used to deal with anxiety before you recognized what was happening?
Yeah, I think for me, first of all, because I didn't recognize it as anxiety, it would really come out and get displaced and transferred to other relationships that I was in. And so it would be me lashing out, me being reactive, me being loud, me being irritable. Um, and when that happens, because I wasn't aware of that, it would actually lead to a disconnection with the people around me, whether it was with Martin, with our kids, or whether it's in the workplace. And oftentimes people would see that as me turning away from them in a relationship rather than what my heart wanted to do, which is actually turn toward them.
Mhm. It also makes me think of disconnection, that you're experiencing a disconnection with yourself because you were thinking certain things, but that wasn't connected to what your body was actually signaling to you.
And I think with the other side of that is it's not the person I want to show up as,
Mm.
right? So if I think about who do I want to show up as, I want to be somebody that's calm. I want to be somebody that's thoughtful. I want to be somebody that's compassionate, that can be empathetic. And when I'm in that anxious state, I can't be that. Um, and so much of my energy is being taken by my anxiety that I don't even have the energy to put into a relationship space that is actually positive.
Yeah, I really believe that the more we're aware here, the more that can inform how we're going to show up outside of us in relationships with other people. So if I'm aware of my anxiety and when it shows up, I can choose to take care of myself and then responsively to show up to the people around me in a way that I would want to, in a thoughtful way.
One of the key things here that we just want to make really clear is we're not saying to ignore your anxiety. It's really important to actually acknowledge it, to recognize that it's there, and to say, I am anxious. I have some anxiety about whatever. And you may not even be able to identify what the anxiety is about. But once you identify it, then the question is, what are you wanting to do with it? And what we try to do, each in our own way, is find those things that help us really take those few minutes, that few little break that will allow our body to really kind of relax and calm down. And we've found a number of different things that can really be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, taking that pause and giving yourself a few minutes makes a huge difference. And it's almost so simple that our mind dismisses it. But what we're doing is actually signaling our body that I'm okay and that I can handle what's going on. So making a safe connection with yourself, with God, if that feels good to you, with a safe person that's with you. That actually signals our thinking, but also our physical body to decrease that anxiety.
And when we talk about signaling our physical body, there's actually a biochemical, neurobiological reason that that actually happens, because we actually have such a surge in our stress hormones that we need to find a way, how can we lower that? And so some of the things that Lauren's talking about, and even like things like taking deep breaths or having a little bit of a meditation or a little bit of a prayer, if that's something that you have in your life, those things can really make a difference. And so when we talk about this, we're not talking about saying you have to take a half hour to calm down. Sometimes it's a few minutes, because that's typically all we have. We maybe have a few seconds. So, again, one is, how do we recognize the anxiety? And then two is, how can we pause and really help care for ourselves so our stress hormones and our activation lowers.
I'm just going to throw in a little plug here that we have a wellness community, and we have a whole entire section on practical ways that you can teach your body to move into that sense of peace and calm. Practical ways on how to protect that peace that you want to carry. Most people want to live in peace. So if you are interested in joining our wellness community, we would love to have you join us.
So we want to invite you in, that when you experience these anxious experiences with people, with situations, that you take a moment, pause, recognize your anxiety, acknowledge your anxiety, and then be able to say, I'm going to take care of myself. And now then once I can get back more into a responsive mode and rather than a reactive mode, now I can enter into that relationship space. And sometimes just saying, hey, I just need to excuse myself, I just need to go to the bathroom. Even in the bathroom, you can just do a couple of things to really calm yourself down.
So we would love to hear your questions as well as your comments on how you have come to recognize when you're feeling anxious and some steps you've taken to be able to manage that well.
Thanks again for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please share this with your friends. And if you're interested in more information, our website is smmcoachingconsulting.com. Or as we mentioned, we have a wellness community. We'd love to see you as part of that. It's called Empowering Minds, and we'll have the link on the screen here. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time in Working Out Your Relationship.